Hi there, I'm Budda and you're watching Dr. Guitar, a show for all you guitarists out there. In today's episode, I'm showing you a Fender Supersonic 22. There's a big difference between the Supersonic 22 and the Supersonic 60. But before we start with the show, I want to thank my dear patrons for supporting the show. You guys are incredible. And if you want to support what I'm doing here, please consider becoming a patron. You'll be getting early access to episodes, free video lessons, free backing tracks, and my huge thank you. You can also do it here on YouTube platform. The link is in the description. You just sign in through YouTube and you get the same goodies but on YouTube platform. If you just want to help occasionally, please consider the tip jar. If you want just a free way of helping, leave the thumbs up, subscribe, and leave some comments. Let's go! The Supersonic 22 is kind of a new amp on Fender world, although it's already a few years old, but it's not a vintage design. I bought it because I was looking for an alternative, a substitution for my Deluxe Reverb, and I don't like to have double gear. Something makes no sense in my brain. So I always like to have something similar like this Next, for example. This is my first Next. I love it. I wanted a spare guitar for shows. I ordered a similar one but with maple neck and tremolo. That actually became my main live guitar because it has tremolo. But basically it is the same pickups, Lindy Frail Blue Special. This is a stop tail. This is still my favorite. The other one is not as good as this one. But I'd like to have kind of similar stuff, but not exactly the same. And the Supersonic 22 makes that for me. It's a 6v6 tube, power amp tube, so it means it's kind of in the realm of a Supersonic. It is a 112 combo, great. It has reverb, it doesn't have tremolo, but it has a beautiful clean channel with two voicings. They call it normal and fat, which basically it is a Vibrolux, very sparkly, very bright, and a basement. That's what they were inspired in. And this is great, for example, to play with a single coil guitar and then play with a humbucker guitar. You just switch from the fat on a single coil to the normal on a humbucker guitar, and you're balanced. Another way of using that is to have like a clean rhythm tone and adding a lead, bolder, fatter tone. So let's start from that. This is the amp on, let me put it on 4. That's its beautiful place. This is the clean channel, treble on 7, bass on 6, volume on 4, and this is the Vibrolux, the normal setting. I like it a lot for this in-between Stratty sound. It's classy, it's clear, it's articulated, love it. It comes with this beautiful foot switch. You can switch between normal or FET, which is great because you can do it on the fly. And then you have the second channel, and you can turn the reverb on or off and the effect loop on or off. I'll be going there in a minute. Let's change between normal and FET. So you can hear the difference. One is fatter, the other one is thinner. And when you go back from the fat to the thin, it sounds, too weak. But it is great for the clean, beautiful. And it is a great deluxe reverb with two voicings. Basically, that's how I feel about it. It's great, it has reverb, it doesn't have tremolo. That's an easy fix because it has an effects loop. So if you want to use the tremolo after the reverb, as in a deluxe reverb, I'm not sure if you know this, but in Fender amps, the order of effects is reverb and then after the reverb, tremolo, which means that if you play a staccato note with reverb, you will hear the tremolo modulating the reverb also. It's not just tremolo going into the reverb. With this amp, we can do it either way. If you use it, as I'm using it now, I'm using the Guedes Trey, which is a great tremolo. On the effect loop of the amp, I can switch the effect loop here on the foot switch. I can switch it, and I'm using the Guedes as a gentle tremolo after the reverb. So here it is. Hear it? Let me exaggerate the reverb. When I engage the fat switch, it basically drives a little more and it becomes a little more compressed, a little more drivey, which is great because I consider it like my rhythm tone, my lead tone, or my Strat tone and my Les Paul tone, or my humbucker guitar tone. I'm using my retro coil, which I usually never use with a Les Paul guitar, but with this feature in the amp, it's great because it's clean, bright, articulated. Let's hear it in the fat channel. Beautiful. It's a great amp, a really great amp. And I've been looking for this, like if you have a Les Paul or a 335 and a Strat or a Tele or whatever, a single coil guitar and a humbucker guitar, and in the same gig, you can easily tailor both voicings. The normal for the Les Paul, the bright, the fat for the single coil. And you get immediately balanced tones from both guitars. And you still have a drive channel. Really, a drive channel from Fender? Yeah, I know hot rod channels are not that great as a drive. This is a really great one and kind of complex, kind of mezza boogie oriented. Let me show you again with the next. This drive channel has very specific control settings. It has treble, bass, and middle, normal thing for an amp. Master volume, but then you have two gains. Basically, gain 2 means it's mimicking the power amp drive. So it gets compressed, fat, but not a lot of drive. Gain 1 is more martially to my taste. And you combine both gains to get like the right amount of gain, but the fat you want. So if I take, let me show you the sound I have preset on this. It's a light gain that won't overdrive with my neck pickup a lot, so it's more like a compressed amp, a compressed Fender amp on the edge of breakup. And then when I go to the bridge, because my bridge is hotter, because it's higher, closer to the strings, it gets me like the King of Tone vibe of overdrive. With a bridge pickup. Let's hear it with a Les Paul. So it's a vintage sounding distortion. It can get really modern, but that's not my thing. Let me show you again with the next, because this is how I feel the amp is better. So it's gentle. When I play gentle, it's kind of a good clean sustained sound. It's like the overdriven on the edge of breakup sound that you perceive it as being clean, although it's compressed and sustainy. But we can get a lot of flavors. So if I turn down the gain 2 completely, this is what you get. If you turn gain 1 completely off, you have no sound. So you need some of the gain 1. And the gain 1 is bright, aggressive. It's martially to my taste. And if you add the gain 2, funny enough, this is how they voiced the Supersonic initially. It was supposed to be like a heavy gain. But what I like about the Supersonic is that you have both gains. So basically means you can tailor the sound to your liking. So with the Les Paul, I won't be using as much of gain 2, and I'll be using gain 1 because it's brighter, but the Les Paul already has a lot of fatness to it. So again, you can really tailor the sound using the EQ. It's a very complex channel because it's really versatile, and not in the way of you can play anything with it, but you can get a lot of tones, a lot of EQ sections out of it. And it works great with Les Paul. It works great with the Strat. I use it most often because I don't play heavy style often. I use it to get like a crunchy sound, and then if I want another overdrive like a King of Tone or just a clean boost or a fuzz into it, I'll build it more. But I rarely use more than the soft overdrive that I'm using here, like. And this is actually an amp I use for jam sessions, or as when I'm called in for guest sections, to play a song or two with a band that is coming to town. It's a great amp because I have an overdrive, I have reverb, I have a clean sound, I have it all covered. I rarely use it with the foot switch because I get my sound and then I control it with the guitar volume. But it's great that it has a foot switch, because if you have a more specific gig that you need those sounds to be ready at spot, like for chorus and then verse, you need to put it in. It's a great addition to have the colors on the clean channel. And it's a great amp, loud enough to stand with the drummer. Fender amp sound, but then you get like Fender with a tube screamer or Fender with an overdrive sound too in the amp. Love it. And this is it, the Fender Supersonic 22. Let me know in the comments what you think about it. And thank you so much. If you have been watching till here, you are great. Thank you so much. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.